If you've struggled with stress, balance, or burnout, and simply feel discouraged or even defeated, and if you're ready to move from force to flow and enjoy ultimate Zen success in your career, health, or relationships, then the Zen Success Show is for you. Your host, Carissa Sims, is an entrepreneur, corporate consultant, best-selling author, meditation teacher, and healer who has found her own Zen success. Here's your host, Carissa Sims.
Welcome to this week's episode of Zen Success. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Laurie S. Jacobson. Hi, Laurie.
Hi, Carissa.
I really love your background. You've got Kuan Yin and you've got this beautiful plant. It just, I don't know, I feel like it complements you well. You're
Well,
radiant.
thank you. Thank
Yes.
you.
My pleasure. Let me share a little bit about Lori. She is an author, speaker, and certified health coach. She has spent more than 25 years promoting health and wellness through education, media, and personal appearances. She's been featured in local and national publications and hosted Cooking for Health on WJAC-TV. How exciting.
Mhm.
She is the author of Unexpected Awakening that was released in March 2025, available both in electronic and written formats. So happy to connect with you, Lori.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Well, we're going to dive deeper into your book and into your practice and your health coaching. So let's start with your book, Unexpected Awakening. It shares a story of healing and rediscovery through mindfulness and Buddhism. Can you start by telling us what inspired your journey to a Buddhist monastery?
Well, it really came as a roundabout way. I was in a very abusive marriage, and it's just strange because when I talk to other women, I find that they'll say, "Oh, I can relate. I've been in an abusive relationship." And I happened to be living in a very isolated place. I was renting a farmhouse way out in the mountains of Pennsylvania. So I didn't have a good support system. My family was very far away, and I was sort of isolated with this man who, when I married him, was a completely different person and just became really cruel, as time went on. And I was searching and searching for a way out because, I had been involved in the health and wellness field for many years. And so I was looking at not only conventional therapies, but alternative therapies. I mean, I tried acupuncture, I tried Reiki. I mean, I was just so depressed. I was in such a dark place. And I was always interested in Buddhism and what the not really as a religion, but as a teaching, as wonderful wisdom to help you live your life.
And I'll
And
just say, I think
yeah,
that's what Buddha wanted.
I agree. I
Yes.
agree. Yeah, he didn't want people worshiping him as a god. He just said, we can all find our own enlightenment within ourselves. So of course, anyone who's suffering, the Buddha said, I have the way that you can end suffering. If you're suffering, you're going to say, okay, let's see what Buddha can do for me. So that was really my inspiration. I had tried meditating on my own, but I had this opportunity to actually attend a silent retreat at a Buddhist monastery that was about a 3 or 4 hour drive away from where I lived. And I said, why not? I've tried everything else. I'm going to go and step outside my comfort zone a little bit and see if this will make me feel better. And
Yes.
ultimately it did.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
amazing. And it's so interesting that it was only 3 to 4 hours away. Were you always aware of it?
No, I found out about it again in this roundabout way. I just really feel like the universe gave me everything I needed at this point, this dark point. I was in a coffee shop. I picked up a pamphlet. They have all these little free pamphlets lying around. And One was for this Theravada Buddhist monastery way out in the forest of West Virginia. And it looked really interesting. That at that point, God, at that point, I don't even think I had a computer at that point. This was like 20 years ago that this happened. And so I called them up and I got their retreat schedule and that's how I found out about it.
Mm, that's amazing. And is it a certain type of Buddhism or retreat? Like, did it include lodging and food? And how was it transitioning to
Well,
this?
it was an actual working monastery in the Theravada tradition, which is the oldest tradition in Buddhism, the one that
Okay.
Theravada really, if you want to put it this way, goes by the book. I mean, it's probably the strictest in terms of the rules for the monks and all this. They had, of course, they had like, well, I'd call it a compound almost, the meditation hall and the dining hall. We did have lodging. They had We're only served 2 meals a day, which is in the Theravada tradition, breakfast and lunch, because the monks weren't allowed to take food after noontime.
Oh,
And then,
interesting.
yeah,
Is there health benefits to that as well, or is that a
well,
spiritual thing?
um, I think it's sort of both,
Okay.
actually. But that was just one of the rules for the monks in that particular tradition. And they had dormitories, but they also had these really cool little, they called them cooties, Kuti. A cootie is just like this little cabin. Oh, it's not even as big as a cabin. It's this one room, little dwelling. And some of them had wood stoves and some of them had gas stoves and just a very, small bed and maybe a table. And I stayed in a cootie for a while, and then, you would just walk to the main building. So, during retreats, all of these lodgings were full, but, during normal times when there were no retreatants, it was just the monks, the nuns, the lay people that lived there that helped the monks, and they just had their daily routine.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
So, had you ever been on a silent meditation retreat?
This was my first,
Okay.
and what was so amazing about it, and I talk about this in the book, was that now this was in the winter time. It was supposed to have just been a week-long retreat, and let me tell you, when you go to a silent retreat, being silent really is so powerful. It really changes things for you. But what was pretty amazing was about halfway through the retreat, one of the monks announced, "Well, we've learned that there's a big snowstorm coming, and we're way out here on these back roads, and if you really need to get someplace, I suggest you leave now. Otherwise, you can stay and finish the retreat, but we can't guarantee when you're going to be able to get out." So at this point in the retreat, you
And can I
know,
just ask,
yeah,
it's
yeah, sure.
22 days, right? Is it 22 days or how
Well,
many days in
actually,
the retreat?
total, I was there 22 days, but that's over 2 visits. So the book
Oh,
is
I
really
see.
divided. I think the first time I was there about 15 days, and then I went
Okay.
home, and then I had to go back, and there was some unfinished business I had to take care of by going back. So that's
I
why
see.
22 days total, because that's really where the awakening and the transformation happened, was I had to go back and finish some things. But
I
thank
see.
good.
So the first
Yeah,
one was 15 days, and then that
right,
would be halfway through 7 or 8 days. Okay, got it.
right. So, but what really was important for that first retreat was because I was starting, that was after, like, I'd say maybe 4 or 5 days of a lot of meditation, and things were starting to happen within me. Like I could tell, oh, something's happening, like something's growing inside of me. And I don't want to go home, you know?
Mm.
I'll stay through the snowstorm, I'll shovel snow, I'll do whatever. Because I sense this thing growing inside me. And that's why I
That's
ended up
beautiful.
staying longer, and which was a blessing. The snow was actually a blessing. Um, and then, then I went home. I thought things were going to be better, but they weren't. And then I just had this draw to go back and finish certain things. And then after the total 22 days was when I finally was able to have the clarity and the insight and the courage and the knowledge to just go home and say, sorry, I can't do this anymore. No, you're gonna have to leave. This marriage is over in a very calm, rational way. It just was, it was like my eyes were just opened.
Mm. Had
Mhm.
you ever practiced meditation before that retreat?
Sporadically.
Oh, okay. So you'd been
I
exposed to it.
I had been exposed. I read books. I
Okay.
never had a like teacher per se,
Mm.
but
Mhm.
I knew the value of it. As a health coach, I knew the value of it. A lot of people practice it just simply for stress reduction. But when you actually meditate on a consistent basis for longer periods of time, that's when you start to gain insights and it becomes more than just a stress reduction technique. So I didn't have much luck doing it on my own in my bedroom by myself. But when you're like in a meditation hall and everyone else is doing the same thing and you listen in the evening to the monks give the talks about the Buddha's teachings and you absorb that, it was just the whole environment that was so conducive to my awakening.
That's wonderful. So before that retreat, did you have an inkling that you were not in a healthy marriage, that you might want to leave, or were you just thinking you will do this for your own self-improvement, this retreat?
Um, I was just looking for a way out of pain. I was
Oh, okay.
just
In general, in
in
general. Yeah.
well, I was not happy in my marriage. I was lost. I didn't know who I was anymore. I
Mm,
felt miserable. I just wanted to feel better. Now, whether or not that was going to be with my husband, without my husband, I couldn't go there. All I had to do was like find myself again, reconnect
mm.
with the person who I thought I was, because she was gone. I mean, I couldn't find her anymore, and I would be crying a lot, and so I just needed help. I needed to feel better. And since, the Buddha's main message is, follow my path and I'll end suffering. I mean, I think
Mm.
that's what draws everybody to say, "Hey, what are you talking about here? Like, how do I end my suffering?" Because we all suffer. We in one way or another. How do we cope with that? How do we feel better? That was my main goal. Find myself and feel better.
Yes. Yeah, that's so beautiful. And when you're talking about suffering, it's interesting because it's really, I mean, in my opinion, we have things that happen to us, and people could think that we're suffering, but it's also our response to it. Like your response to this suffering in your marriage was to go to the retreat. You awakened yourself, and then you had the courage to leave. What was it within you that you think? Was it dormant, or how did you have this calm confidence to leave your marriage?
Well, that's a bunch of factors. And I said, again, I've just been so blessed that all of these factors seem to converge at the right time for me. Um, I tried so hard to convey this in the book because it's so much of an experiential thing. And I can try to elaborate on that. But before I do, I just want to comment on what you said about, we all suffer and it's our reaction to suffering. But one thing I did learn was that, some people get turned off to Buddhism because of the word suffering. They think it's all,
Oh,
about suffering. But what I learned was that that translation isn't really exact. It,
Oh, I love this. I want to
yeah,
hear this. Okay,
yeah.
tell me.
The Buddha's ancient language is Pali, Pally. It's pretty much a dead language, I guess, like Latin now, but his original texts were written in Pali. And the word dukkha is translated as suffering. But what the
Okay.
monks said was that dukkha is really more like unsatisfactoriness. Like
Oh,
things aren't going the way you want them to go. It's like,
oh,
there's a cog in the wheel that just doesn't fit quite right. And so, that could be like, well, we're going to grow old. Yeah, we don't like that. But that's the reality. And we can either suffer or we can, like you say, deal with it, accept it,
mhm.
react to it differently, change our mindset, whatever. But so I just wanted to clarify that it's not so much that we suffer, it's just that things don't always go the way we want them to go. And because of that, we get upset. Or
I
we want to
love
fix
that.
it. Yeah.
It's a lighter. It feels
Yes,
more doable or fixable, where suffering just feels like down in a ditch, like
exactly.
not getting
Exactly.
out.
Yeah, yeah. Like, oh, life is suffering. Might as well just give up, right? You know. But no, I mean, and if you face that
Beautiful.
reality that, yeah, life isn't always going to go the way. I mean, pe your loved ones die.
Hmm.
You divorce, you lose
Hmm.
friends, you get
I'm
arthritis.
divorced.
I mean, all of these things, we don't like it.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
anyway. I just wanted to clear that up because I don't want to turn anybody off to Buddhism because oh, it's just a downer, it's all about suffering. It's really not. It's how to, his last noble truth is that there is a way out of suffering. So then you're saying, okay, tell me what this way is. For me, what really, I mean, all the meditation can help bring things up from your subconscious that you've stuck down.
Yeah.
You just pushed it down. You don't want to deal with it. So things started coming up for me. I mean, I would be crying in the meditation hall. I don't know why. It was like, oh my God, why am I crying? And, because things from my past, things, traumas, or things I didn't deal with, because you're so relaxed and calm and empty mind, they have the opportunity to bubble up into your consciousness so that you can deal with them. And so I had a couple of things bubble up for me. And then if you're lucky, you get insights into things. And one of the biggest insights I got, and I again try and explain this into the book in a way that people can really experience it with me, is this notion of impermanence. And,
I
when you
love
first,
that.
yeah, yeah,
It's amazing.
it is. But when you realize impermanence on like a really deep level, you
Yeah.
can gain insights into other aspects of your life. Because at first, when I heard it, I heard the monks talking about, oh, yeah, one of the characteristics is impermanence. And I just said, impermanence. Well, there's got to be more to it than just everything changes, nothing stays the same. On the
Hmm.
surface, you can say, yeah, everything changes, everything's not going to be the same. But when you really know that on a deep level, or feel that, or see that, or experience that, then you realize that, well, if everything's changing, it's so much easier to let go of things because it's not going to last.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh my God, you just nailed it. That is
well,
the secret.
if
That's beautiful.
yeah, I mean, and that was my one of my awakenings. So,
Yes. Yes.
why do we hold on to things? Why are we grasping at things? Why are we trying to, crave this? And then when we get it, we realize, well, it's just going to pass away anyway. So I hope that, that helps people, but again, it's different when you like when you're deep in meditation and you realize this insight. It can really hit you at a deeper level. And thank goodness I did. And I really tried to capture that moment in the book that it happened. Because as I said,
Beautiful.
it's really more of an experiential thing. I don't do it justice by talking about it.
I'm sure, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But did you ever want to leave? Was it painful to be silent or sitting, or how was the
Um,
experience?
well, I can't say that I wanted to leave because I felt like everything I was doing was leading somewhere. You know,
Oh,
the uncomfortable part might have been, sitting for a long time on your cushion, your
hmm.
knees hurt, your butt hurts, there were uncomfortable moments, but something I could tell that something was happening and I needed to keep going to see it through. And then once things really started to blossom, it was blissful. I mean, there was so much joy and so much bliss that I experienced. And that sort of happened with another one of the insights that I got a glimpse into. And again, these are just glimpses. I mean, I'm not professing to be any great enlightened person or anything, but this glimpse into no self, where you sort of lose the story of Laurie and the I consciousness, and you just become an observer. You just,
Oh,
yeah, you just are watching and you have no judgment. It is so cool. I wish I could just snap my fingers and get into that state anytime I want?
well, and you're talking about no judgment. To me, that is like radical acceptance. It's complete self-love, but also maybe love and acceptance of others. Is that no judgment translates to that? I don't know.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And that's where Kuan Yin came in. Yeah.
Tell me. I love
Well,
Anya. She's one of my
well,
guides. I love
well,
her.
if people don't know, she is a bodhisattva, and that means that she's an enlightened being who basically postponed her entrance into nirvana to help all sentient beings reach enlightenment. So th I'm telling you with utter, truth that Kuan Yin appeared to me at the monastery. I didn't know who she was at first, but I felt her presence very real. I saw her in my mind's eye, and I am convinced that she came to help me. And I mean, I will be forever grateful to this day. And that's why I have statues of her all over my house. But Kuan Yin is the bodhisattva of compassion. So she's all about loving kindness and compassion. And again, one of the insights or the realizations that I had during the first retreat was looking at everyone and feeling so much love for them that, we're all in the same boat. We all just want to be happy. We all suffer. And if you know that, how can you have anything but love, loving kindness, and compassion for them? And I felt that on such a deep level. I could look around at all the other retreatants, someone who used to maybe annoy me a little bit. And, oh, this woman, man, she just makes so much noise in the meditation hall. Like, why can't she be more quiet? And I'd be annoyed by her. But then when you get this deep compassion and loving kindness in your heart, you're like, oh, I understand. Like maybe there's things in her life that she's, suffering from, and I can only have compassion for her instead of, annoyance of her. So, yeah, so that was definitely part of my journey too, was having, and having that towards myself, finding loving kindness, not only seeing it for other people, but giving it to myself. That was a big awakening as well.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I have done a 10-day silent meditation retreat called Vipassana. And that-
Yes.
and that's a sect of Buddhism, isn't it?
Well, Vipassana is the type of meditation, and that is the type of meditation that I did that was practiced in the Theravada tradition. So,
Okay.
Vipassana is basically insight meditation. So, again, it's not really just geared solely towards stress relief, it's geared toward gaining insights, seeking wisdom, enlightenment, whatever you want to call it. So yeah,
Mhm.
so you practice that type of meditation, and it's very powerful.
Yeah, and it's interesting because now I do spiritual healings, and that's a type of meditation that I do with my clients to get them in their body. And so it was interesting when I was in the meditation retreat, I was in pain probably like third day. It took me 4 days to transcend. I did transcend the pain after the
Mhm.
fourth day.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And there is a meditative Vipassana type of meditation where it is meditation on body parts, and maybe you went through that.
oh, yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah, you
Exactly.
would concentrate on one part of your body. It's just
Yes.
another technique, and feel your hands, feel any sensations in your hands. It's just another concentration technique, but using the body. Because
Hmm.
that's really what meditation is. It's concentration. Vipassana, we technically would use breathing, focus on your breath coming in, focus on your breath going out. Other types of meditation that people might, pick up or experiment with is, the mantra meditation or staring at a candle flame meditation. Anything that one pointed attention focuses your
Hmm.
attention. I just learned the breath. That's what I'm
Yeah.
comfortable with.
Mhm.
That's what worked for me.
Yeah, when I was at a Buddhist monastery, I did the candle one of like
Hmm.
eyes open, look single focus. That
Yeah.
was interesting. I really enjoy experiencing different types of meditation. And one thing I thought was interesting about the participants is that there were some people that had come from rehab or they had addictions and they were trying meditation as a different healthy addiction, maybe. I don't know. Or maybe transcend it. What do you think about that?
Well, it can definitely have a place as therapy, I think, for
Yeah.
sure. And, for instance, well, John Kabat-Zinn was really one of the big initial promoters of meditation, and I think it was him, or maybe it was somebody else. I'm getting mixed up. That started a program that was used in hospitals that actually used meditation because it can be used for pain relief.
Yeah.
I think is pretty common, and anxiety, depression. It calms the nervous system.
Hmm.
It has multiple uses. So, you know even if you're not suffering, emotionally like I was, maybe if you have some physical ailments, meditation might be helpful, or some addictions, or just a lot of anxiety, or I've heard it's really good for ADHD, that type of thing. It's just got so many benefits, and
Yeah.
people just say, "Oh, I can't sit still for that long." Well, you don't really have to. Just practice for, start with 5 minutes, just 5 minutes a day. If you do 5 minutes a day, it's more beneficial than doing 20 minutes once a week. So,
Wow, that's a good statistic. I
yeah,
remember my first meditation, it was 2 minutes and I
there,
barely made it.
yeah,
I had to start slow. But yeah, that's amazing that it
yeah.
helps people with so many different things in life. I just, oh. I just love meditation. So let's
Mhm.
talk about, so some people struggle with anxiety, depression, or
Mhm.
the aftermath of trauma. And you were in, I would say, a traumatic marriage. Would you
Oh
say
yeah.
that?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, and what were some of the warning signs that you were living in a toxic, abusive
Oh
environment?
boy. Well, ladies, listen up.
The signs, were there signs ahead of time? I don't know. Because
Well,
you said he
yeah.
changed, you know?
Yeah. The only, well, signs ahead of time was, my ex-husband was always a very passionate person, always
Mm,
speaking his mind. But that
mm.
was one of the things I was initially attracted to him.
That I would
He
say that's an attractive quality in a
sure,
person. Yeah.
but he just went off the deep end, and I would just say that if you ever feel that you're being disrespected in any relationship,
Uh-huh.
that's a red flag. And it's so easy to write it off. Oh, he or she was in a bad mood, they were upset by this. They're
Ah,
gonna lash out, and I would just happen to be there. They're not really like this. You start making excuses for people you love. And and you have to put yourself first. And again, if they criticize you, another thing is like another red flag is like running hot and cold one minute. Oh, they love you so much and they're all full of appreciation. The next minute they're, telling you you're a terrible person and
oh
criticizing
yeah.
your every move. Just listen to your gut, because we all know when someone is disrespecting us or trying to gaslight us or trying to control and manipulate us. That was a big thing that these narcissistic personalities do is they want to control and manipulate you, and it's so hard because this is someone that you love or you did love, and you want to please them, and you tend to fall into this trap, and before you know it, you get stuck. I was very stuck. I couldn't find my way out for the longest time.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you did.
Yeah, me too.
And
And I just want to add that now I'm in a very happy marriage. I am
oh,
married to
you got
someone.
remarried.
Yes, I did.
Good.
I was
Amazing.
surprised, but I did.
You surprise yourself. That's
Yeah,
good. I'm
yeah.
divorced also, but
Okay.
maybe someday I'll get remarried. I'm not like whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I, if it happens, it happens. I mean, I do want a partner, but
Well,
um,
right. And that
yeah.
I'm the same. Is like I think I'm a better person actually when I can share my life with someone. That's just the
Mm.
kind of person I am. Some people, they really are happy being alone, but it took me a while, but I did know that I wanted. Well, I was way out in the middle of nowhere and, all by myself. So at first, all I was looking for was some company and conversation. That was like first and foremost, but that happened to turn into something more. So I'm very
Oh,
grateful for that.
that's so sweet.
Yeah.
So in our world of constant stimulation, what are some practical, real world ways we can bring mindfulness into our day?
Well, I like to tell people when things start getting a little hectic or when you find your mind's just going on autopilot, or you start to feel a little stress or anxiety, hit the pause button. Just tell yourself, okay, pause. Pause, take a deep breath, feel your feet grounded to the floor, feel present in the moment, and just take a few minutes to reset and pause. And, if you're at work, and go into the men's room or ladies' room and do some deep breathing. Deep breathing is just such a valuable tool to help calm the nervous system. And people don't practice it enough. When I was doing a lot of yoga, and I was teaching yoga a little bit too, all practically all of the students said that their favorite part of the yoga session was the deep breathing. It just relaxes you. So I would just say, breath, pausing, calming the mind. If you want to recite a little mantra or something that grounds you, or I like to use the body, maybe just if you're sitting in a chair, just feel the pressure of the chair on your buttocks and
Hmm.
and just know that even if you have to tell yourself, everything's okay, or I've got this, and it's not quite as bad as it seems. Or you could say, I'm just going to start over. But get to a calm place in whatever manner resonates with you. But you always have the breath to work with. It's always there. So that would probably be my go-to.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. And I also like the mantra
Hmm.
advice. That's great.
Hmm.
And do you have a mantra that you like?
Oh boy. I just, I'm a little old school and I'll go back to like Louise Hay, if anybody remembers her. And it's just like, just all is well.
All
All
is
is
well.
well. All is
Yeah.
well. Keep it short. It just has to be something that resonates with you. It's just, like the universe is going to do whatever the universe is going to do. You have no control over it whatsoever. So, you can remind yourself to stop trying to control everything and just know that all is well. And so, so much of life is a mindset thing,
Yeah.
Our minds just get crazy with all these thoughts. And I mean, that's just what the mind will do. That's the nature of it. It's going to have thought after thought after thought. So, this is where meditation can really be helpful because it helps you to see those thoughts, realize that those thoughts are just thoughts, they're not real, and then you can let go of those thoughts. And if
Mm.
you just keep practicing that and realizing these are just thoughts, like this isn't, real. This isn't like the way things are. This is just our thoughts about the way things are. And and
That's
and
deep.
yeah, and so just try to tune in that, everything's fine. The universe is just going to keep on doing what it's doing. We have no control over it. And you know, just do what makes you feel good.
I
Try
love
and be
that.
kind. Try to be kind. Try to listen more.
Yeah.
Don't talk as much. Listen more. All these things try to keep in mind.
Well, I love Louise Hayes. In fact, I just did a post on Instagram, on social media about her book and the
Oh, really?
affirmations at the
Oh,
end. So it's funny. It's great
yeah.
that you brought it up. And then breathing too. It's interesting. I was working with a breath work practitioner and they were saying that I'm not breathing deep enough. So that was something that I hadn't even thought about, that I'm like surface level breathing, but what you're talking about is like deep diaphragmatic breaths, like deeper,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that about myself too, because when I was practicing yoga, I noticed, I was deep breathing a lot. I mean, that was something I was practicing on a regular basis. And now, like, since I've gotten away from that a bit, I do notice a difference. And it's just a
Mhm.
simple practice. I've tried to help people too because a lot of us just are chest breathers when we, like you
Yeah.
say, diaphragmatic breathing, inflate the belly on the inhale and really squeeze the belly on the exhale. And one little trick, maybe people know this already, is try to make the exhale longer than the inhale. That's where the magic happens, is, exhaling all that stale air out. And they did practice that at the monastery when I was there too. One of the monks He practiced a lot of yoga in India, and he before every meditation, he asked us to do slow, deep breathing before we started our meditation.
Oh, that's so interesting
Yeah.
because I learned about exhaling more than inhaling when I was a runner, when I used to get cramps. So I learned about that in high school, I think, or middle school,
Wow.
where I would exhale more. So it's interesting that you bring that. Like I would have to say, okay, 1 second in and then 2 seconds out. So that's how I would breathe when I was running. It really
Interesting.
helped. I know
Yeah.
it's not interesting. So
Yeah.
it might have, has that physiological benefit and
hmm
also meditative focus or maybe a detox. I don't know. What is it?
I don't know. I
Why?
think it has all of those things in the nervous
Okay.
system too.
The nervous system. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, when you practice silence in the monastery, what happens to the mind and body when the noise disappears?
Oh my goodness. It's amazing. Being silent is such a powerful tool. I didn't realize how powerful it was, but just imagine, okay, you're in a group and everyone isn't talking. So when you don't have to talk, you don't have to start thinking, how am I going to reply to this person? Now, in normal conversations, like I was saying before, we really don't listen enough. And when you're talking, I'm already thinking about what I'm going to say to you. I'm not really listening to you. I'm thinking, oh, well, what can I say to her? You know? And, or here's my best answer. Or, oh, I don't think that's right. I'm going to take the conversation in a different direction. So all of that stuff is gone. You don't have to be thinking about what you're going to say to somebody. So instead of that focus outward to what am I going to say to another person, all your focus is inward. You're just looking inside because you don't have to respond to anybody. The only stimulus you have really is what's going on inside of me that I need to pay attention to. How am I reacting to this? Like, what feelings am I having? Um, or maybe I'm not having any feelings. Maybe I'm just pleasantly, um, in a state of clarity, and I'm just watching. But the necessity to think about a response is gone, to come up with something is gone. So it's really this great journey into what's going on inside me right now. I can pay more attention to what's going on inside. Or if something like bubbles up in me, like I'm acutely aware of that rather than having to be in a conversation with somebody and thinking about that conversation.
Yeah, that's amazing. I
Mm.
think everyone could benefit from that silence. I remember at that retreat, the when I would eat, I would say, fourth or fifth day, and I would hear the clanging. It was like an earthquake when I would hear people eat the fork hitting the plate. I was like so loud.
Yeah.
I was so sensitive after. And then my other senses started to magnify.
Oh, that's right. That was the other thing I was going to mention. Yes, your hearing magnifies, your sight
Yes.
magnifies. Yes,
My
for
taste,
sure.
everything was like tasting like incredible. I was just like so interesting
Yeah.
that silence, taking away a sensory is like, can cause magnification of others.
Yeah, and they'll say that like with blind people too, their hearing
Mm.
gets so much better. Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, I found that interesting. But
Yeah.
I don't do it much anymore. I mean, I meditate every day,
Mhm.
but I'm not doing the silent meditation. I do guided.
Oh, okay.
Because it's
Yeah.
easier. But, I practice it with my clients and I lead
Mhm.
meditations and things. So, in your experience as a certified health coach for over 20 years, what role does physical health play in supporting emotional and spiritual well-being? I love this question.
Well, it's because, and as well, everything's connected. Your mind, body, spirit, it's all connected. So, if your physical health is better, you're feeling good with your physical health, then obviously your mind, your mental health is going to be in a better place as well. And if your mind and your mental health is in a good place, then it'll be more conducive for you to seek out spiritual practices or feel aligned with certain spiritual practices. And when I used to be teaching health and nutrition classes, I used to always point out on the chalkboard how these all relate to each other and how each one is like a doorway to the other. So it doesn't really matter where you start because I'd have people in class and everybody's like, well, what do I do? Where do I start? What do I eat? How do I
Yeah, if
exercise?
everything is like, okay, everything is like needs improvement, right?
Right, right. And it's like I don't care where you start. Start where you are. Start with what attracts you. Start with maybe after a little introspection, you'll say, "Oh yeah, this is what I really need right now." Like I'm so sedentary. Maybe I should start just taking a walk every day. So let's say you start taking a walk every day. You're going to have more energy at the end of the day to say, well, maybe I will fix myself a healthy dinner instead of like going to McDonald's. Um, so each one will sort of feed on the other, and you have to trust that process. But they are all connected. It just depends where you need to start. I had this one student in my class that, I mean, she just was a sugar addict. She admitted, she said, I just love sugar. I know it's not good for me. And she said, okay, I'm just going to quit sugar for like 3 weeks and see what happens. Well, she felt so amazing. She joined a gym and she started exercising. So you just never know where it's going to lead. The most important thing is that start with one of them and know that they're all interconnected and the rest will follow naturally.
Oh, you're such an incredible teacher
Oh, thank you.
because you just like have compassion. It's like you've been there and you just
I've
like,
been there, yeah.
and just one, start with one thing. It's so much easier and simpler than people think. Because, like, if you say, okay, I want to get healthy, that can mean like a million things. And there are a million things that you could change to be healthy. But where are you going to start? And then your client had this ripple effect where they joined a gym. That is inspiring. I love that. Like quitting
Yeah,
sugar.
because you're right. It can be very overwhelming. And especially in today's, age of social media and Instagram posts and YouTube videos, it's like everybody's telling you all these things you have to do, and you get very overwhelmed and, it then you don't do anything because you're sort of spinning your wheels. Well, I should do this, I should do that, I should be counting this, I should be aiming for that. Um,
Yeah.
but I usually tell people to like search inside. Like that's the most important thing. Search inside yourself and the answer will come. Like, gee, I know I really, really, here's my little weakness. I know if I just start there, it'll ramp up the rest. So it's different for everybody. There's
Yeah.
no right answer that's going to fit everybody. It's really a very individual journey to health.
And even what you're saying in trusting yourself, like tuning in, like that's really empowering too. I know for me, I have a bit of a cold, and this morning I tuned in and my body said, don't eat. Don't eat anything. Nothing. So I'm fasting today. And
Smart. That's smart.
and then I have the temptations. I have a lot of crap in my house right now.
Mhm.
But anyway, so what is Zen success to you?
Oh boy, success. I don't know if it's ever really achievable. I'd say you can have mini goals, because you always should be on a journey. And like for me, my recent, success, if you want to call it that, was like I finished this book and I published this book. This was a big thing. This book started 20 years ago, and I just kept putting it in the closet, bringing it out of the closet, working on it, not working on it. And I got tired of telling people, well, I am writing a book. I don't want to say that anymore. How many people say that? I'm writing a book and they never finished it. I wanted to be one of
I
those people
know.
that finished it. So that was a huge milestone for me. So thank you, thank you. But
I
it's
didn't
really
take quite as long, but almost 10 years.
okay. Well, it's going to take as long as it's going to take.
Yeah, that's right.
But now, I have to set another mini goal.
That's right.
And you don't want to just say, "Oh, it's success. I've reached success," and you stop striving, or you stop being curious, or
Yeah.
you retire. Technically I'm retired, but I don't ever really want to retire. That's really a Western concept, but success to me too, now that I think about it, is just feel good every day. If you can feel good and happy every day, damn it, that's the best you can do, I think. That's a great
Oh,
success.
amazing. Well,
Mhm.
it's been such a pleasure getting to know you and diving deeper into your book, Unexpected Awakening. Everybody needs to get this book available at Amazon. And I'll put your website and how to buy your book in the show notes. So thanks for being on my show, Lori.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's been such a pleasure. I've enjoyed it. Take care.
That's it for today's episode of Zen Success. Head on over to iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you listen to shows. Subscribe to the show and share with friends. Be sure to head on over to zensuccessshow.com to help you on your Zen success journey, and join us on the next episode. May you find your own Zen success in life.